Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your general tarot reading for December 2016. And I don't know if I'm going to be doing, two of these in December. It depends on how busy I am. But I did want to at least do one general Tarotscope, I guess you'd call it. And so here it is. I do want to say, before I lay out the cards, that there is going to be a full moon on the 13th of December. And this is in our opposite sign of Gemini. And so that's the 7th house of committed partnerships. So either, for some people, they may take their relationship to the next level. The full moon is a very abundant, or it's big, it's pregnant. So it can be this kind of fullness in the relationship. It can also be an ending. Sometimes that is how it plays out. But you can find out something. If you're married, you find out something about your spouse. So that's always a possibility. There are a few other transits I'm just going to briefly mention, because the sun goes into Capricorn on the 21st. That's the winter solstice. But also, that's the 2nd house for Sag, the house of earned income. And Mercury goes there earlier in the month on the 2nd. So those are triggers that can be very helpful for any kind of new money coming in, especially since there's going to be a new moon on the 29th at 7 Capricorn. So that could be like new money, maybe a new income stream or something like that. So that's good for your pocketbook. There is a Mercury retrograde in December. And that happens on the 19th. I'm going to see if it's in Sagittarius. Yeah, because it's going to be in Capricorn. Okay, so what do we do about that one? Well, just it's going to be in the 2nd house of earned income. So if you were thinking of starting some kind of like side business or something like that, just understand that for a few weeks it may be like something may be delayed, slowed down. Definitely make sure if you're supposed to sign any documents for any kind of financial things that, if you can avoid it, try to. If you can't, you can't. But if you can't avoid it, make sure that you really read what you're signing. And there's also going to be a transit of Venus going into the 3rd house in the sign of Aquarius on the 7th of December. And that is like really good for maybe meeting somebody on the internet, meeting somebody in your local area. That's always a possibility. And Mars goes into Pisces on the 19th. So Mars has been in that house and then goes into the 4th house on the 19th, the same day as the Mercury retrograde, and this can affect your home. There can be like some kind of contention. It could be with your family of origin, and of course, perfect timing for Christmas, right? For those of you reuniting with your family. But it could just mean like house renovations. I mean, that's one of the other possibilities. Something active within the home. Building, tearing down. Oh, there's our card. The Temperance card. So that's really cool. And of course, we have our solar return. And as I'm recording this, it is, mid-November. And so there, it hasn't happened yet, the new moon in Sagittarius. If you're watching in November, that's happening on the 29th of November. So it's a solar return. Now, technically, it's really only going to be for those people. It's going to be in the 1st house of those people who are born in the first week of Sagittarius. Okay, because it's about 7 degrees of Sag. So for the rest of us, it's actually going to be a new moon in our 12th house, which is kind of more of a spiritual and kind of like the past, tying up those loose ends. And actually, our first house new moon will be in Capricorn, at an early degree of Capricorn. Sometimes I don't like talking about that because I don't want to be confusing, and then sometimes people, ask me questions, which is fine, but I don't like to confuse people. This is a general reading, so these things are very generalized, all the transits. This continues, this card, the Six of Cups. Oh gosh. It's probably trying to tell us something. I better really read up on it like in depth, because I just keep drawing it over and over and over and over again. Okay, so here's the... now, when I first look at this, I just see a lot of things happening and a lot of activity, a lot of kind of, not a lot of major arcana, just the Temperance, which is our card, which is Sagittarius's card. And what does Temperance mean? Temperance means balance, harmony. I would say, not going to extremes. It can mean, to me, it can even mean humility, because we have in the past position the Six of Wands, so there may be something for some of us that's very successful. This could be career related, and you're taking your bow, or we're taking our bows. And so it's like kind of asking us to have that sense of proportion. As fire signs, we get very fired up, and we can even get manic when we have success, because we're just so enthusiastic. But it's telling us it's tempering your I don't want to say your enthusiasm, that you want to dampen it or anything like that, but tempering it means it's all putting it into perspective, I suppose. And being able to... Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if this is also true of the... I think this is also true of the Star card, where it's 1 foot in the water and 1 on land. So that's like heaven and earth. The water represents the spiritual. And this is interesting, just like that... just like Aquarius, the Star card, the pouring the water into the vessel. It's a card. I think it might even be like healing and things like that. But I feel like you're having, or we're having, something that makes us very happy, but we have to make sure that we don't get carried away, okay? And this is I think this is also our card, even though it's, you could say it's associated with just the fire signs, it's a wands. But as people, I think it's Sagittarius, okay? But I think this is the most chaotic of all the nights. I associate it with Aries myself. I connect it with Aries. But I see this as career. However, it will be love for some people, because the higher message is the Ace of Cups. So this is a new beginning in love. I can't help but think that this is like icing on the cake for some people. That not only are you experiencing success in your business life, but you're also falling in love. Maybe you meet somebody in that place, of business. And so, everything is going your way. You're totally aligned. And in the birthday month, I don't know about you guys, but I always feel good during December. I can't think of any time when I've ever felt anything but, really energized, really upbeat in December when my birthday is. So it's always good to feel good, because then you attract, more good to you, as far as I'm concerned. But I do think that there's going to be like both things happening for some people that need that. I mean, some people are happily in a relationship, but for the other people, now it could be even with the Ace of Cups, if it's not a romance that this is the beginning of, it could be the beginning of some kind of where you feel like you've even come home, because this is the end result, and this is associated with childhood. It's like coming full circle in a way. And this could be, if you have, because it's cups, it could even be spiritual. Like, let's say you decide to do some kind of training. I'm going to be doing some kind of spiritual training in December. And these kind of things, they may touch your soul, and it's a whole new beginning in that area. And that can affect your life as a whole. It can affect your love life. I'm talking about positively. It can impact your business life in a very positive way. So as a spiritual message, this Ace of Cups seems to be really suggesting good things in terms of how something touches your soul. It could be, for some people that career success is something that they have wanted, and they've wanted to, on a very deep level, that, it's like their wildest dreams coming true. Maybe it's even the beginning of a creative project for those of you who are artistic. What crosses you is the Queen of Wands. So I'm reading this as kind of a reversed card. Very interesting, because, there could be definitely this can always be, you. And even if you're a man, you could be, I hate to say the word bitchy, because some women may take offense to that, but that is really the opposite of what the Queen of Wands upright is all about, being cheerful and all of the positive, kind of the melding of the male and female energy of being ambitious, but also very, happy-go-lucky, energized, enthusiastic. In the reverse position, it's that kind of the worst possible diva behaviors, attention-seeking, trying to, lord over other people. That could be somebody else. That could be, maybe a boss figure who's acting up, or it could be the queen can represent a mother figure if you have a mother, or a mother-in-law who does not, know their place. They are constantly interfering. This could be a very smothering kind of an energy. It can be, somebody who, thinks they know how you should live your life type of person, interfering with your life. And so that could be like a fly in the ointment, so to speak. But be careful that you are not this diva, that you're not, your success hasn't gone to your head. And now you think that you're better than other people, and you're kind of throwing your weight around, so to speak. Not a good idea. But this could be, if you're involved with somebody and they have a baby mama who is acting like this, that could be an example of that as well. Not a big fan of that term, but I did it kind of like as a joke. The advice is the Knight of Swords. You may have to, it's funny, another knight, huh? So, some of you, this could be a person, if you have some kind of a new love that has come in. the Knight of Wands that I had mentioned before, sometimes that can just be like a passionate affair, but it's not necessarily something that is long-lasting. And maybe in that scenario, the Ace of Cups is a water sign individual who's more of a lasting relationship influence, and the Knight of Swords is just like you have to kind of be very outspoken about what it is that you need, because if you are dealing with a water sign, you're going to have to, I don't want to say tolerate their behavior, but you're going to have to learn how to understand the differences in how you relate to them. By the way, I'm going to be doing videos, I think as early as today, which isn't going to make much sense unless you're actually watching this on the 14th of November. But whenever you see this, check my channel, because I'm going to be doing love observations for each sign. So I'll be talking about, the different water signs. So if you're dealing with a water sign, you might want to check that out, but I'll probably be releasing them gradually. So basically, this card is a card, the Knight of Swords, sometimes is talking about lawyers, okay? Somebody who is very sharp-witted, and they think on their feet. They could use their mind to, for what they do for a living, And so some of you, maybe you do have to consult a lawyer for some reason. Maybe you are getting divorced, and maybe that's the one thing that has prevented you from moving forward, or maybe it's just complicated your life. But it can mean that you have to just act quickly about some matter. And if it's a job situation, a job offer, maybe it's something that it's like limited time offer, and you have to literally be willing to make a snap decision. And it could even be, I think, in the realm of ideas. So if you have like a great idea, you might have to act on it right away and not just procrastinate, because somebody else might take your idea. I had an idea for a book, and then I saw, and I was like, oh my gosh, I should have done that. And then you can do that. You can have a book with the same title, but still, it's like, then people say, oh yeah, you're just copying this other person, when you actually thought of it a long time ago. So it might be one of those type of things where you have like this great idea, but unless you put it into play, you're going to lose out. The Knight of Swords is very quick, in action, and also very quick to speak and outspoken, and you may have to, speak your piece about something as well. This may be, as I say, if you have any kind of family issues related to that transit of Mars in the 4th house, you might not be able to get away with biting your tongue. You might have to actually clear the air about something. The outcome is the 6 of Cups. So this is more of a harmonious card. If there's any kind of family thing, this is related to the past, to nostalgia, to a simpler time. As I said earlier, I keep drawing this card. There must be some higher meaning. I draw it for many different signs. I do feel like, connected to this Ace of Cups, another Cups card, that some people may be realizing a childhood dream of theirs. Something they've always wanted to do may come to fruition. Maybe it's taken you 50 years to accomplish it. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, some things we keep in the back of our minds, and we think to ourselves, I really want this to, happen for me, but we just, get caught up in life and other aspects of life, and it's always lurking there in the back. And then finally we go for it, and it's just amazing how easy it is for it to happen once we really just go for it. This could also be a person from your past. As I said, there's going to be a Mercury retrograde, and sometimes people hear from people in the past. Now, with that Venus going into the third house, it could be through the internet that you reunite with somebody. So that would be interesting as well. In any case, my fellow Sagittarians, happy birthday to those of you. Oh yeah, even those of you in November, happy birthday to you too. And of course, this is a December reading, so happy birthday to December Sages. If you'd like a personal reading, you can click on the link below. It'll take you to my website. Otherwise, have a great December. Bye, you guys.